I don't usually cover what people might call trivial things, but I'm going to talk about Game of Thrones today because it's a big series. It's kind of like $1 million merchandise extravaganza, and they've just kind of shot it dead in the head and killed all that money. And all the cast are acting like, oh, it's a stupid thing to have a petition with 1 million people. Those 1 million people are all just rude. Yeah, that's going to work, isn't it? But the cast, even if they're really unhappy with what's happened with their plots and so on, they can't admit it because that would threaten their job with future employers. They know that they'd reveal things if they're unhappy about it, and it would sabotage their ability to make money. That's what it all comes down to. And because it all comes down to making money, HBO are more likely to listen to this petition because they stand to make a lot more money from a new series and more merchandise than any anti-war petition to a government. You know, you could have an anti-genocide petition, but if they're not going to make money, they're not going to listen to the petition. And why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about something trivial? You might be thinking, well, I've been talking about Brexit, I've been talking about censorship, I've been talking about the New World Order and the end of the world, and now I'm just talking about a fictional story, which didn't end as many people wanted. Well, the reason I'm talking about it is because culture is upstream from politics. It was always Paul Joseph Watson that said that politics was downstream from culture. And that is why Obama and the Democrats courted the trivial Hollywood elite, because they knew that they weren't going to pay attention to facts. They knew that they were the ignorant and compliant citizenry, that they weren't going to pay attention to, actual statistics and logic and follow any kind of through line, that they could get the media to just say whatever it wanted in its hysterical, childish, tantrum type way, because that's what the general public are like. They've been socially engineered to be infantilized, and that's what the media is feeding off and hoping that they're completely aligned with each other. Problem is they're not. The critics give it a certain score, Game of Thrones, and then the audience give it a different score. In fact, Rotten Tomatoes has become a haven to gauge the disparity of society and the critics, or the global elite in general, because the critics mark things up, mark them as wonderful, mark them as, legendary, memorable pieces of televisual history if they're woke AF. So replace your white straight male with a fat black les character, you'll be fine. Doesn't matter about plot, doesn't matter about story, doesn't matter about tropes, doesn't matter about cliches, doesn't matter about satisfactory resolution or character development or consistency or anything like that. As long as they're woke, that's the criteria to get good reviews, man. And it's not really that trivial when it comes to millions and millions of dollars, because they're losing millions and millions of dollars on merchandise. People aren't going to be buying the box sets because they don't like the last series. They're just going to get like series 1 to 7 or just download them. And that's around the world. I mean, in 5 days, it's amassed 1 million signatures around the world. This thing is popular. They stand to make loads of money, and they stand to lose loads of money if they don't listen to it. It's not just a trivial petition, just like you might say that any actual anti-war petition is more trivial because they're not going to listen to them because they don't stand to make money. If there's a petition that they stand to make money from listening to the results of, then that's different. And that's why I think it's foolish for the cast, for Isaac Hempstead Wright and for the guy who played Grey Worm, etc., to say that it's rude or that they're absurd or that it's ridiculous or, that this is... they're just going to keep insulting people, aren't they? And that's going to drive people away more and more. They're not going to want to watch their characters that insulted them in real life. And yes, it's all a bit pathetic, and yes, it is infantilized, but that's what's happened to society. We have to go along with it to some extent. But we have to also understand that what Paul Joseph Watson said is true. Culture has more influence on society than politics. And as a piece of culture, Game of Thrones was high politics. It was. It was about people pretty much sticking to their own, building a wall and stopping invaders from coming in and destroying everything. Kind of right-wing. It's funny that I get accused of being a leftist for being unhappy about the way Game of Thrones ended, or for agreeing with the petition and actually signing it. Because it's not a left-wing thing. Culture has more influence than politics. Politics is downstream from popular culture. And the culture war is being fought every day on the internet. Every day throughout in the real world. And it represents the censorship of free speech. It represents the cabal's control. It represents all the, big tech censorship and the unification of that. It's all linked. It's all linked to the culture war. We won't agree with the critics, and now they try and silence us because we're not woke enough. It was like that with Star Wars. They tried to say that, it's a toxic fan base. Yeah, a toxic fan base. White males are toxic masculinity. But with Game of Thrones, they can't say it's a toxic fan base because it's too big, it's too vast, it's too all-encompassing, and it's too ubiquitous, and it's too associated with women. So they can't say it's a toxic fan base. So they have to actually say, well, these people signing the petition are right, even if the cast are wrong. I just wish we could sign a petition to remake Brexit and recast Theresa May in the final season.